My name is Judy Kurtz. I am Vice President of Commercial Real Estate here at M&D Real Estate. And I'm sitting here with Stewart McGregor. He is the Director of the Economic Development Corporation in the city of Kaufman. And I wanted to bring Stewart in today to talk about the city of Kaufman and the growth that they're experiencing and why it's a good place for commercial retailers, developers to start looking at the city of Kaufman instead of waiting until it's too late. So thank you for coming in, Stewart.
Thank you, Judy. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and about the city of Kaufman?
Sure. So as Judy said, I'm the Executive Director of the Economic Development Corporation for the city of Kaufman, which we are the county seat of Kaufman County, but been a part of the community there for about 2 years. And as some people may know, as many people know in this area of DFW, Kaufman County is the fastest growing county in the nation. And so you can see that as you drive throughout the whole county with the major home developments coming online and other commercial developments coming in. And really the city of Kaufman has just now started getting a lot of that growth hitting us. So we're the county seat. We have about 8,000 people in our city limits, but we are actually probably looking at potentially doubling that population in the next decade.
My question. Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah.
So, and what's causing all that?
Sure. So obviously it's part of the Texas miracle of what we're seeing right now going on across our state, but predominantly here in the DFW Metroplex. People wanting to get their kids into a good school district. We have one of 2 A-rated school districts in Kaufman County that we're very proud of, as well as cost of living and proximity to employment. So we are just 35 minutes southeast of downtown Dallas, right along 175, one of the easiest ways in and out of the city of Dallas. And so we have just a lot of people moving out that direction, whether it's relocations of people that live in DFW right now looking for a little bit more space or land, but also the same thing that we're seeing across all of the Metroplex, people moving from California, moving from the Midwest, moving from other parts of the country that see the opportunities that there are in moving to DFW.
Yeah, and what we've always talked about is the ease of probably getting into Dallas from Kaufman versus, say, Forney and Terrell, because it's just a lot quicker drive. And people think that Kaufman's so far away, but it's really not.
Right.
Like you're saying, it's a quick drive and probably a little bit easier drive these days.
Right. And that's what I promote as well is, logistically where we're located, we are right along State Highway 34. It cuts right through our community, which connects down to Ennis at I-45 and north to Terrell at I-20. So we're kind of right in between 2 major interstate thoroughfares. And I like to say there was one night where I was heading to downtown Dallas after work, and I left the office at City Hall at 5:15, and I was in Deep Ellum having dinner at about 10 till 6. So yeah. I was there about 35 minutes. So you can't beat that.
You can't do that on I-30.
No.
That's for sure.
No.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about what kind of commercial product you're looking forward to bringing to Kaufman. What are your needs right now?
Sure. So the city of Kaufman in general, we're starting to experience some of those new builds in the commercial sector, but are always looking for ways to expand and grow our commercial and industrial developments. That's predominantly what I focus on in my role with the EDC. Mm-hmm. And so we have had a good history and good hits on the retail front because we are the county seat and have a great daytime population. We have a development that's anchored by Walmart. We're actually getting a new Hampton hotel that's coming online starting this fall, breaking ground, as well as about 24 more acres of space for junior anchor and commercial retail sites for that, and some pad sites as well. So we're always looking to enhance our retail front, keep some of those dollars within the city of Kaufman that people may be driving to other surrounding communities to go spend those in with services that we may not have. But we're also looking at enhancing our industrial sector too.
Yeah, let's talk about that. You and I have talked about it before. When I'm talking to developers and brokers about the city of Kaufman and the need for your industrial down there, why don't you talk about what you're looking for, like cold storage,
sure,
things of that nature.
Sure. So right now in the industrial front, we have 3 major manufacturing employers in our community. We have Advanced Tapco, which manufactures metal tables. We have Mica Steelworks that manufactures lattice poles for electric companies. And then we have Pneumo Manufacturing that does promotional products. Each one of those employers has well over 100 employees at each one of their plants in Kaufman. So we have a great legacy and history on the metal fabrication front, which is something we always are looking to expand in because our workforce aligns very well with that. And then we're also looking to diversify, as you mentioned, on the cold storage front. I think that that's a great opportunity for us with the different sites that we have, both privately owned and owned by the EDC throughout the community,
Yes.
To be able to expand into that, as well as food processing opportunities. As I like to say, we sit on the back doorstep of the farms and fields of East Texas where you can source raw materials, and on the front doorstep of 8 million consumers in DFW. So I think that's another great target for us since asset class continues to just blow up and expand and try to find new communities to go into. And then just in general on the advanced manufacturing front, looking at those opportunities, industrial flex that you and I have collaborated on is a huge need right now.
Huge need in Kaufman. Yeah, I think that, what I'm finding in the whole Kaufman County is the flex space that is being built is leased before it's built. And we could use more developers out there looking for, and there's actually some great opportunities to build that. You've got some perfect sites for it off at 34, close to 175. I mean, you couldn't get better land opportunity than there. So hopefully if anybody's out there looking for development of that product, that's a good place to go to. Speaking of, back on industrials, at a seminar recently, and they were talking about workforce being kind of the issue of where some of these companies want to go. But I would say that Kaufman's probably got a good, you were talking about metal fabrication workforce, but what about workforce for other types of manufacturing? You think you guys have a good base there?
Yeah, and that's one question I always get from different employers that I talk to is, can I get the right workforce that I need for this location if I come to your community? And obviously, being in the nation's fastest growing county, the answer from me is yes. Within about a 30-minute drive time of Kaufman, you're pulling from a pool of about 1 million people. So whether that's white collar talent, whether that's blue collar talent, we have that moving in as well as already existing in there. So the metal industry, as you mentioned, has one of the highest concentrations in the state for that workforce category. But we're also seeing ways that we can diversify that as well with partnerships that we have with our school district right now, as well as Trinity Valley Community College. Trinity Valley is looking at more ways in which they can get into more workforce and corporate training programs and can provide customized training to meet the needs of those employers on equipment or other things that they need, as well as with our school district. One of the things that we're working with them right now on is creating a dual credit program with TVCC to do a paramedic training certificate for kids that are seniors in high school, so that as they come out, if they get their paramedic certificate, they can either go right in the workforce, go to college and get their 4-year degree, or do something else. And so finding speed to market on some of those things is something that we regularly collaborate with our other educational partners on for workforce.
That's great to hear, really. So let's go to downtown Kaufman. I don't know if anybody's been to downtown Kaufman, but it's a great little downtown, historic downtown. The future for it looks really bright. We've just got to get people there. And what is it that you're looking for? Tell us about what's going on now and what you're looking for.
We have an awesome square in downtown Kaufman, with us being the county seat. We're one of those 254 cities that get that claim. So we have our courthouse sitting in the middle of it, which is now going to be more county offices, as the county just built a new courthouse to manage the growth of what's going on out there. But on our square, we have several restaurants and retailers that have found good homes there. We actually have about, as of recently, about 5 projects right now going on the square that are either recently opened or in process of opening, that are kind of in that either restaurant, retail, arts type business. We had one retailer just recently open. Their first 2 days, they had a huge amount of transactions that they did. And we're very pleased with that. We have a new restaurant coming online that's doing some apartments upstairs with dining down below, which is pretty cool for us. And then we have an arts business moving out of Dallas that's renovating an old historic building that they're going to have their gallery inside of. They're going to have their living quarters up top and have a workshop in the back. And so we're always trying to find ways to capture more of those kinds of cool uses that are going to draw people in. Our city does a great job in putting together events for downtown. We have our upcoming Harvest Fest event that'll be on the square. We just had on Monday night, we had a homecoming, or not a homecoming, but a pep rally for homecoming that brought a lot of people down to the square to enjoy that. And so ways that we can better preserve our history and bring in those new uses that are going to cause people to want to come downtown on the weekends, hang out, spend their time, spend their money is what we're looking for. And the EDC has some grant programs to be able to help facilitate some of those deals with some of those cool users that we're chasing after right now.
Yeah, and so you've got the metal arts guy, and then you have a home builder that does luxury homes that's obviously down there. And so now we're starting to look more of like a design district. So we would love to see users like lighting stores, kitchen stores, things of that nature to help collaborate with the new home guy and the arts guy. We'd also like to see a wine bar or, brewery. Maybe a cute little pizza / wine bar. But there's some great opportunities. And I think I think now's the time to look at those opportunities to really get in there. So talking about downtown areas and people coming to it, that's the thing about these unique little downtowns. Like Rockwall has a great downtown. And I think Kaufman can be just like that because of the way it's built and the nice little restaurants that you have. And I think families like to go places like that instead of your national brands all the time. They just want something unique. And so it's going to be exciting to see exactly what happens to the downtown area and all the things that you're trying to help do with that.
Well, and we have a great group of downtown merchants that work together. I mean, I like to say you're only as good as your partners.
That's
and when
true.
it comes to the partners I have in downtown Kaufman, it's second to none. They collaborate well with each other on products that they carry. They try not to duplicate what they're carrying between each other. And then also we're looking at ways that the city and the downtown merchants can work together on public art initiatives. So Tony Collins Art that's moving into downtown, that's going to be part of what they're doing, and their relocation is providing the city with a public art piece for the square. But then also murals and other things that you like to see.
Those are always fun. Very cool. Well, let's go back to just the industrial sector because that's, it's a huge product that's needed around the area. What other things are you looking for?
Sure. So, Kaufman has never traditionally been a tech town, but I think as we've seen over really the last 2 to 3 years, the technology sector has really enhanced beyond just a traditional office setting for tech workers into other things like tech manufacturing and things of that nature. So I think what we're seeing right now in our state's economy with what's going on with Texas Instruments doing a big project in Sherman, as well as Samsung doing a big project in Taylor, is that's going to necessitate more suppliers coming in that are supplying those plants for their chip products. And so while we may not have sites that can accommodate a big, huge semiconductor manufacturer, I think that we do sit in a good stead for emerging industries on chip suppliers and the different components that go into those sorts of things, since we're an hour and a half from Sherman and about 3 hours from Taylor, makes for easy in-time delivery. And then also, as we've seen with the recent boom in AI, data centers are back as a big asset class now for the industrial sector. And we actually have some sites in Kaufman with 345 kV lines running through them that have a tremendous amount of power to be able to power some large facilities for data center users. So, I know that we've seen a lot of those data center users start kind of going to the southern suburbs of the Metroplex, Midlothian, Red Oak, Wilmer, some of those areas. But, Kaufman, I think, is another great contender for something like that, especially with the lower cost land prices, but you're getting tremendous fiber capacity, tremendous electrical capacity. you're really not giving up anything to be in Kaufman versus one of those other communities.
Yeah, that's great to hear.
Mm-hmm.
See, those are just some of the things, the little things that people don't know about the city of Kaufman and Kaufman County. So, all right. So let's talk about, is there any big projects that you want to talk about that you can talk about, I should say?
That I can talk about. I think in 2024, we'll be making some good announcements and some really exciting things to come that I can't talk about right now.
Okay.
But as I did mention earlier, that Hampton Inn is coming online.
Yeah.
And so that'll be kind of Kaufman's initial move into the limited service, upper mid-scale asset class for hotels. And they'll do an 88-room property right there. And then continuing to work on additional retail tenants for the Kings Fort retail development at Walmart. But one of the things that we actually did recently that's coming online and was pretty cool to work on was with one of your associates here at M&D, Kevin Wiebel, who's the commercial director. Several years ago, M&D was selected by Kaufman County to do a portfolio sale. And that was right around the time I started working in Kaufman. And so I got to know M&D very well in that process. And one of the properties that M&D sold was a 7.5-acre parcel at the corner of Washington and Houston Street. And one of Kevin's clients was the CEO of Soul Man's Barbecue, a great regional restaurant concept out here. And so they obviously didn't need the entire 7.5 acres for their restaurant. The property was actually unzoned. And so what we did was we collaborated and partnered with Soul Man's and with M&D and engaged a master planner to come in and create a kind of a mixed use site plan for that property where they could have their barbecue restaurant, but created some walkability, created some opportunities to be able to bring in more like patios for restaurants. We've seen those become more popular post-COVID, as well as some green space, shared parking, some of those things that you may not see in a town our size, but kind of create something a little bit unique and something that gets people excited and wants to stay there and spend their money there. And so we just got the zoning approved on that at P&Z the other night, and we're going to be taking that to council. So we're really excited about that. And so that's been a great project to work on with y'all at M&D, and just appreciate y'all's work with them on making that happen.
Absolutely. Well, we always appreciate all your hard work. Is there anything else? Did you want to talk about the Caddy Corner building, the textile building?
Sure. We have other retail opportunities beyond just our 175 corridor. We have some smaller properties. TxDOT owns a piece of property in Kaufman that they're looking to divest of, and we're actually looking at engaging a master developer through the city on that and doing sort of a collaborative partnership on that.
Okay. The
other corner of that intersection, a group called, it's a development called 5 Points. And there was a Cope Equities out of Allen purchased that, and they're doing a mixed-use development over there with multifamily townhomes, single family, and have about 15 acres of commercial that go into that intersection. And so I think that's kind of our next emerging retail corridor. And then kind of as you head from really 175 north towards downtown, we see that as a prime redevelopment area where you can take infill parcels of land and start redeveloping that into something that's going to kind of be a great transitional product into downtown, and that kind of captures Kaufman's history and character and, develops over time. And, infill housing, while I don't get involved in housing, I think there's some great opportunities for infill housing developments as well around town.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Number one, about, the average price of homes now and the new home builders coming in. But you were also talking about the older homes and the program that you have for people that want to come in and renovate the older homes that are around downtown. So
our new home prices on new home builds, they're going at anywhere from the high 2s to the 500s. So very healthy home price that the market has proved out for us out there. But for some of our older home products that may have been built closer to downtown, 50 or 60 years ago, there's some opportunities through the city of Kaufman that they have in some programs. Their homeowner improvement incentive program, I think is what it's called, that they have that provides a small rebate back to a person that wants to invest in a house and maybe flip it, and there's a minimum threshold on that. But that's a great program that has been successful in kind of getting some of our older product, cleaning that up and making it nice, and bringing some people and investment in town. And obviously enhancing the value of those homes on the tax rolls too.
And I'm going to have to start looking at some of those homes now. Now that I just heard that sounds like an interesting idea.
Absolutely.
So much for commercial. No, but anyways, well, I really want to thank you for your time. I really thought it was important that we got together and talked about Kaufman and really opened everybody's eyes to what's going on there and why they should be there. So if there's anything else you want to say, please do.
I'll just say I've worked for this is my third city to work for in my career. And out of the 3 cities, I would probably say Kaufman is the most collaborative city I've ever worked in. And that's a testament to the staff that we have, to the council we have, to the board that I have. We always seek to really work well together. We have a vision and we're going to articulate that vision. But we're also going to work with the people that come in through the door and try to work with them to accomplish that vision and that goal. And so it's a great effort that we do, and it makes it easy and it makes a win-win for all of us. So would love for y'all to come down to Kaufman. My website is kaufmanedc.com. And so feel free to check that out, or more importantly, just give me a call, or if you're in the Kaufman area, stop by the office at City Hall.
I definitely want to work with Stewart. He's a great guy. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.